Coronavirus is a pandemic reaching far across the world. Many of us are being asked to self-isolate for the first time, and I know that that can be a scary thought with a lot of uncertainty. I've been living with a brain injury for 2 years, and self-isolation has been a big part of my life throughout that time. So in this video I'd like to offer you 9 tips on how you can survive self-isolating during the coronavirus. Tip number 1 is that this change is temporary. Now I know that that sounds like a scary thought. We don't know how long coronavirus is going to affect the world. We don't know if it's going to affect us personally. We don't know if it's going to affect our loved ones, our families, our friends. But humans are very adaptable to change, and while at first having to make all these changes you might feel like, why am I having to do this? It's not affecting me yet. But we don't know really what's coming and how bad it's going to get. But over time, the changes that you're making now, you will get used to it, and this change, this coronavirus, is not going to affect us forever. Tip number 2 is to stay in touch with your family and friends. Now I know obviously if you're living in the same household then you might have your family here with you already, but if you don't, then the thought of self-isolating, you could be living on your own and not actually able to go out and socially connect with anybody. You might find that the clubs, the pubs, the restaurants, the bars, the cafes, the things that you do to usually have that social connection, you might find that you can't do that anymore. So it's so important that you do find other ways to connect. So don't forget your mobile phone. You can pick up the phone, whether it's your mobile or it's your landline. You can phone people, you can Skype, you can email, you can use WhatsApp. My family have a WhatsApp family chat group, so it's a really great way of staying in touch with people. So don't forget your family and friends. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you do still exercise. So if you find that you're not able to go to your local gym, then you can of course still go outdoors. It doesn't mean that you're going to be mingling with a lot of people, but I find that being in nature is really healing. So whether you go to the beach or you go to a local park, so long as you're not mingling with a lot of people, you can still go for a little walk outdoors. There are other forms of exercise that you can do at home too, such as yoga, and there are many businesses that are doing online workouts as well. I know that my local gym, Results Gym Forfar, are doing daily Facebook Lives with a workout of the day, so that's definitely something that you can get involved with. Tip number 4 is to remember to eat well. I know that it can be so tempting when you're getting Netflix on, you're spending more time at home, you might think, right, Netflix, chocolate, ice cream, crisps, all kinds of junk food, but what you really want to be doing, maybe have a little bit of that, but you want to make sure that you're eating as healthily as possible, so that if you do end up coming down with the coronavirus or indeed any other type of cold or flu, then you want your body to be in the best possible condition to fight that off. Tip number 5 is to keep your brain active. Now I did mention Netflix there, and I love a good Netflix binge, especially Schitt's Creek and Queer Eye. I could sit and watch these things for hours. But it is important that you do keep your brain active. Some things that could challenge your brain, some things that could keep you feel nice and chilled as well. So I like to do puzzles. Also Sudoku. Maybe you want to try something new, you might want to learn to draw, you might want to do a bit of painting, just something that's going to keep your brain nice and active in a good way. Tip number 6 is to journal. Now this is something that I started doing after I sustained my brain injury. Initially it was to help my memory, but as time went on I realised just how important it was for me to be getting my feelings out. So I just can't stress how much it helps my mental health. You know, when you're going through periods of time where there's a lot of uncertainty in your life, it really helps me just to get my feelings out of my head and out, whether it's out on paper. You might want to use a physical journal, or maybe you use an Evernote or Google Docs, just something, a way that you can get your thoughts out of your head and just clear your mind a little bit. Might help with all that worry. So in my journal I like to have a section on gratitude. So even on the worst days where I'm feeling in a lot of pain, I always make sure that when I wake up I write down 3 things, at least 3 things that I'm feeling grateful for. And personally, having gone through a period of, well, a long period of change in my life, I've become so much more appreciative for the smallest things in life. It doesn't have to be big grand gestures. It could be that I wake up and I hear the birds singing and I just think, wow, that's just so amazing to listen to. Or I might open the curtains and there's a beautiful sunrise, you know, you could see a beautiful view in the sky, and you just think, yes, it's those little things, they're the kind of things that I'm grateful for. Tip number 7 is to write yourself a happy list. Now, I know that this might sound like a bizarre concept, but it's something that really helped me when I was going through a period of change, and it was like my life just changed drastically overnight. I was in so much pain. I was recovering from my accident. I didn't know I was becoming a new person. I didn't know what were the things that actually made me happy anymore. The things that I used to be able to do, I couldn't do anymore. And so it was an opportunity to almost draw like a line in the sand and say, okay, what are the things now that make me happy? So I have a happy list. I'm not going to show you all of it here, but I have this happy list that I keep in my fridge, and as time goes on, I add to it. And like I said earlier when I was talking about journaling, it doesn't have to be big grand gestures. It's just, what things can I do? So I want to ask you, what things can you do? Little things that you can do every day that make you happy. So for example, things that I can do on my own, so in self-isolation, I'm just going to pick out a few things. So first of all, I would say I love listening to music. So I have various lists on Spotify. I've got one that's uplifting, and for me, it's just, you know, when you get a good tune on and you just, you know, music just makes you feel really good, doesn't it? Also, I have one drinking hot chocolate in my favourite mug. So sometimes I like to sit on a sofa and just look out the window with my favourite mug, get my hot chocolate in there, and I'm just thinking, yes, in this moment, I'm just soaking up this 5 or 10 minutes. It's just me time, and I'm going to appreciate that. And another one I'm going to share with you. So another one that is quite new to me is TikTok. Now, it's one of these things, yes, who cares? I'm probably too old for it. I really don't care. I like TikTok. So many people were telling me about it, and I thought, oh, is it one of these things that's for the younger generation? But in actual fact, I find it really funny. So I'll go on there, and sometimes I do my own videos as well, just to have a laugh, because I think it's important that we do still keep having fun. Tip number 8 is to write yourself a to-do list. Yes, I'm a big fan of lists. Now, this could be things that you are doing now, that you want to do now, or it could be things that you plan to do in the future once we all get back to normal after coronavirus. So maybe there could be a little house project, a little bit of DIY that you've been meaning to do for ages. Maybe you could paint your bathroom. You know, there could be things that you can achieve now during this period of self-isolation at home, or you might be thinking bigger, something that long term. I know that we can't go flying off all around the world at the moment because we're in self-isolation, but you could be planning what you want to do for your next holiday once we can fly again. And lastly, tip number 9 is I just want to say to be kind to yourself and to others. I know that this is such a hard time for us, but I do think it's important that we be kind and we look out for ourselves, and we look out for our neighbours, our friends and our families as well. For many of us, this is the first time that we've lived through something that's affecting the world over, and I do think it's important that we really look out for each other and just be kind. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I would love it if you could pop into the comments below and let me know your tips for dealing with self-isolation while we're going through the coronavirus. And if you would like to hear further updates from me, if you'd like to see more of my videos, please do subscribe to the channel, and remember to hit that bell notification and you'll get notified when I release new videos. Thank you so much, guys.